Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Outlook and discussion. It's Friday. I do know it's Friday, June 19th, 2020, and the weekend is upon us. Whatever that means, here we are. This will be fairly short today. As always, it's good to have you join in and see what's happening out there across the tropics, which, of course, in the Atlantic right now, nothing going on, no development areas seen. We have this big Saharan air layer that's dominating the main development region, and that'll be the way it is for the next several days at least. Meanwhile, in the eastern Pacific, an area of disturbed weather could start to develop here early next week and move generally westward over time, as we see in the 5-day graphic. So no issues for Mexico or Central America. If anything does get going out here, it'll be moving out away from land. So that's good news there. A day of pretty good news all around. All right, looking at the vorticity signature, again, not much happening here across the, well, that's a terrible color. Let's use, let's see if it highlights better in red. There we go. When you use the same color as some of the background colors, it just doesn't work. Not much energy down in the Atlantic right now, dominated, of course, by the SAL, the Saharan air layer. But here's the energy, the string of energy kind of stretched out, and that is what we look for. We want to see, do any of these little blobs right here start to take over and consolidate, and that would be a sign that something's going to organize and become a tropical cyclone. But we don't see any signs of that just yet. But times are going to be changing soon enough, and I'll show you about that in just a moment. Let me go to the GIF image. There we go. Nice animation here of the tropical Atlantic, courtesy of Levi Cowan's awesome website, tropicaltidbits.com. There is the amazing Saharan air layer that's coming out into the Atlantic. This will push westward over time. So you folks here in the islands, through the Caribbean, the big islands, the little islands, everything in between, maybe parts of the Bahamas, and then eventually the Gulf Coast states, this Saharan air layer and dust will reach you. And it'll give you those blood red, beautiful sunsets. And if you're up early enough, you can actually see the blood red sunrise. I prefer to miss those myself, unless I absolutely have to be up that early. But this will be pushing across warm, stable air. We've already gone over all of this, and so you know the deal there. This is a very typical thing that we see this time of year. Look, there's a little surge right there, a little tropical wave getting ready to move through. Sound like Bob Ross, a little tropical wave just merrily moving along. But yeah, these Saharan air layer surges are an indicator of a strong African easterly jet, like I mentioned yesterday. And once we get into August, well, things will be a lot different. I can almost assure you. Now, one thing that'll be really neat once this dust reaches right over here, the vicinity of the Virgin Islands, I will show you what it looks like on our Nest cams. This is the camera in St. John at one of our crowdfunding partners, Brent, at his house, Brent Lynn, and this faces generally south to southwest. The Nest cam is a nice wide 130-degree field of view camera, and this is permanently placed at Brent's place there in the Cruz Bay area, I believe it is, in St. John. So we'll be able to watch. Look at the blue, the very deep blue sky that we see right now. That will change, and it'll become a lot more milky, and we'll be able to catch the sun, which is right up here right now, as it starts to go down in coming days. I'll show you like the previous day, because I'm not doing these updates at like 7 o'clock at night, but I'll show you. And as the sun gets low in the sky over here, you'll see how it starts to get that dark orange or dark red color. The other camera, there we go, is in St. Thomas, and this faces north. This one hosted also by one of our crowdfunding Patreon supporters, Timothy Olive and his family. Beautiful shot there looking north from St. Thomas, and this too will be able to see the Saharan air layer move in, and I'll show you. All right. So when is the Atlantic going to get busy again, or the Eastern Pacific as well, for that matter? Well, this tweet today from Eric Webb, you know I follow him on Twitter, very smart gentleman, UNC Charlotte graduate student, and he likes climate dynamics. Who doesn't, right? Tropical phenomenon and winter storms. Awesome. So Eric Webb tweeted this. The EPS, which is the Ensemble Prediction System, continues to advertise an MJO-like wave. It's kind of like the Madden-Julian oscillation. It's similar to that. That's what he's saying, and that's what the green in green he's saying. To move into the Atlantic around early July, as this wave passes over the Atlantic, conditions will become anomalously more favorable for tropical cyclogenesis, and eventually an uptick in African easterly wave, that will follow. So this is a neat graphic, this animation. Let's see, I can't get it to expand. Nope, it won't let me. That's all right. It's coming. It's going to be a little bit of time, but after we get in past the 4th of July and beyond, so let's see, what is this? This is June 29th, 4th of July, and this 24th, 29th, and then July 4th. I got it. It's 3 frames. Okay. It's tiny text right there. It's hard for me to read. But the green indicates the upward motion. So I'm going to stop it here. So by the 4th of July, which is what it shows there, that's early July, look at all this green across the Atlantic Basin and over Africa. That's upward motion, divergence in the atmosphere, and especially centered right here over the tropical Atlantic with the opposite, sinking over the tropical Pacific. So we'll put a big negative here, a big positive here, and that'll be something to look for going forward. All right, so nothing now, nothing over the next few days, but as we close out the month, and we're almost to the last third of the month coming up, we'll start watching the long-range models and the subseasonal indicators, Kelvin waves, all that kind of stuff. Bottom line is we will know that this is coming. So that's the good thing, is we can spot it fairly far out in advance when that window of opportunity is going to open, and you can be prepared accordingly. All right? So have a good weekend. I'm probably going to take the next couple of days off from doing updates, not to just continually bombard you with nothing's happening. And I'm going to continue to work on my new series, The Hurricane Highway, which, by the way, episode 4, all about the weather balloon project, is going to be finished either tonight or tomorrow. It's just a matter of how much tweaking I want to do. And that is available right now for all of our Patreon supporters. Whether you're at the $1 level or the $100 level, it's everybody. It's like Amazon Prime. It's included with Patreon. So if you're a current patron, you can watch the Hurricane Highway series. I've already got 5 episodes done. This is actually the 4th episode. I finished episode 5 before 4. Hey, go figure. And I have 3 more to go, 6, 7, and 8. And it'll be all finished, and I'll eventually put it on Amazon Prime Video. But anyhow, I'm going to keep working on that this weekend. There's nothing brewing in the tropics, so let's all take a couple of days off, and I'll see you back on Monday. Sound good? I'll still tweet stuff and whatever. I'll be around, but no videos until Monday. All right? Have a good rest of your Friday. As always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget I'm on Twitter at HurricaneTrack, YouTube.com/HurricaneTrack. That's the brand, HurricaneTrack. And for HurricaneTrack, I am Mark Sudduth. I'll talk to you again Monday.